More on what comes next in this fast-moving story. We want to bring in our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel. Richard is on the ground for us. He is in Tel Aviv. Richard, good morning to you, sir. President Trump again tweeting, posting a short time ago to Israel directly, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home. You're on the ground there in Israel. What do you make on a macro level of this ceasefire, hours long, appearing to crumble?
So the ceasefire could be crumbling before our eyes, Craig. Now, let me tell you where I am. I'm actually in Beersheba, and this is the apartment building that was hit by an Iranian missile this morning, and at least 4 people were killed. Now, this attack happened technically before the ceasefire came into effect. So this technically is not a violation, even though it hit a residential building and several people were killed. But after the ceasefire was in effect, Israel says that Iran fired another missile at Haifa in northern Israel. But that missile did not cause any damage, any casualties. Now, Israel is vowing to respond, and Israel says it's going to respond forcefully. And that is what President Trump is trying to stop right now, telling the Israelis to pull back their planes so that this last licks phase doesn't gain its own momentum and the ceasefire fails before it takes hold. So I think we'll really know by the end of the day, which technically is when this ceasefire is really supposed to be officially announced.
Well, I mean, the president just told reporters he was not happy with either side, especially Israel. And the post that Craig mentioned seems to be directed at Israel, saying, bring your pilots home. Where's the disconnect here?
Well, the disconnect seems to be in the sequence of events. Even though there was that rocket attack in northern Israel after the ceasefire was declared, after the ceasefire was in place, no one was killed, no one was injured, but Israel still seems like it wants to respond to this attack because there were casualties here, because there were Israeli victims. So it's a bit of an interpretation. Who gets to have the last licks? Who gets to have the final say? But I will say that I'm speaking to senior U.S. military officials and negotiators who are directly involved, and they remain somewhat encouraged that despite what we're seeing right now, a new diplomatic phase could begin shortly.
Why, Richard? Really quickly, why are they optimistic?
They're optimistic because they believe that both sides have an interest in stepping back from the brink right now, that Israel has accomplished what it wanted, that Prime Minister Netanyahu, who set out to destroy or at least severely damage Iran's nuclear system, has done that. And now it's an opportunity for him to pull back from the brink before dragging the U.S. into a regional war with no end. And that Iran is very weak right now. It doesn't have very many choices and could be facing regime change. So they don't want to continue this much more than they need to either.
Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, on the ground for us this morning in Israel. Richard, thank you.
Summit and just spoke to reporters moments ago about the collapse of this ceasefire. NBC's senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us now with that story. And Gabe, the president was quite explicit in his displeasure with both sides here.
Yes, Savannah, the president seemed extremely frustrated and, in a moment of candor, told reporters that Israel and Iran, quote, don't know what the F they're doing. He then posted on social media urging Israel not to drop those bombs and to bring their pilots home now. Trump now says Israel will turn its planes around and not attack Iran, and that the ceasefire is in effect.
These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
This morning, President Trump furious and lashing out as the ceasefire hangs on by a thread.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.
On his way to the NATO summit in Europe, Trump laying blame on both sides.
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back.
and frustrated with the strikes that happened after announcing the deal yesterday.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
It's a starkly different tone from yesterday when the president told NBC News in an exclusive phone call, "I think the ceasefire is unlimited. It's going to go forever." And this all comes after a dramatic day of diplomacy from the Oval Office. When Iran fired missiles at a base with U.S. troops in Qatar yesterday, the White House had expected it, according to a senior White House official, because Iran had tipped off Qatar, which in turn alerted the U.S. The president calling Iran's attack a very weak response, adding no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system. Shortly after that post, the senior White House official says the president called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with a direct message. No more war, no more fighting. The Iranians have been significantly weakened. As Trump heads to Europe to meet world leaders, these latest developments redefining a foreign trip that was expected to be a victory lap.
As soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it.
According to a White House official, once aboard Air Force One, the president engaged more directly, calling Netanyahu to urge him to turn around Israeli planes. The official tells NBC News the president was exceptionally firm and direct with the prime minister about what needed to happen to sustain the ceasefire. Savannah.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez right there at the White House. Thank you.
Shalom. Koholo Yahweh. Bashima Mashiach Yahushai. Rahab Rakakudash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community. Waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humble and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say Shalom. It's your brother Yasab coming at you with another video. And it's just breaking news post America attacking Iran. Now you have this false mainstream media narratives out there literally posting there's a ceasefire agreement. Okay, ain't no ceasefire agreement. The mainstream media is telling you ceasefire. Okay, all the controlled media networks are telling you ceasefire. Al Jazeera is showing something completely different, and there's a lot of foreign media channels saying something completely different. So it's just total confusion. Okay, World War III is here, and even if there was a narrative of a ceasefire deal, you still have Russia, Ukraine, and that's America versus Russia. Okay, America's been aiding them the whole time. So don't believe the hype of a ceasefire deal. And I noticed after the attack, of course you guys know I work in Midtown Manhattan, it's a lot of fear out there. The people are terrified. And if you look at the so-called president cabinet, they look confused, man. Okay, and it's really the hand of the Lord, okay, moving, okay, these heathen to go about war with each other. Okay, so don't believe the ceasefire hype. It's going to escalate. You gotta check it out. It's already embarrassing. They struck, okay, the B-1 bombers, B-2 bombs, whatever jets that was, that hit 3 targets, allegedly, 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The sites were empty sites, okay? And the only damage recorded was mainly the entry on one of the main targets. Mind you, there was no uranium enrichment in there whatsoever. There was no plutonium, okay? I'm jacking that word up. There was no damage done, except your tax dollars being dropped and wasted, okay? And for all you Trumpers out there, especially y'all, how y'all feeling today? I thought he was the president of peace. Apparently, the PM of the Israelis been pulling him the entire time, and Congress, and all of Washington. So it's going to end very bad for America. Okay, I'm gonna hit y'all with this before I wind down. I don't have my swords in front of me at the moment, so I do my best to shoot off the hip. This is what's going to happen. This is just my honest opinion. It's just an opinion. Okay. We saw the Iranians attack Qatar and Iraq. That's not the primary attack. Okay. That's not what they really want. If they want to do damage, okay, if they really want to do damage, and I'm praying the Lord this happens immediately, if they shut off their Straits of Hormuz, there is no more America. Okay, and that's the real fear. Because what is America saying? Peace and safety, gas prices are down, everything's going normal, which makes no sense after an attack on a sovereign land. Americans are celebrating like, even the administration is celebrating like, okay, we did our part, let's make peace. I don't think the Iranians, excuse me, I don't believe the Iranian president that's stupid. Right after the United States basically started World War III, dropping bombs on 3 empty nuclear plants. I don't think the man's that stupid. Because when you look at how this conflict started, the Iranian leaders were trying to have a peace deal, and the Israelis killed the Iranian military leaders. And that caused the Iranians to start raining missiles all over Tel Aviv and other parts of Israel. So that don't make sense. The narrative that there's going to be peace talks just, 48 hours after the attacks? Or maybe 72 hours, after the attacks. That don't make sense. And anyone believing that narrative is out of their mind. Only the mainstream media is telling you peace talks, peace talks, peace talks. Al Jazeera and other sources saying otherwise. Because that don't make sense. We know this war is at hand. And yes, you know how you crash the United States economy immediately? If they block the Straits of Hormuz, that's the end of America. And really, that's the end of life abroad. And we know what that's going to usher in. Further conflict. And based on the accounts, all the nations are aligning themselves with Iran. This is the buildup of Revelation 17. And that Revelation 17 is going to manifest. Okay? Revelation 17 is due. No brothers pushing Jacob's trouble. All these other narratives on Jacob's trouble. Y'all know my take on Jacob's trouble. As I agreed in the recent video, we already filling the prison houses. We the ones abusing the court system. We the ones constantly abused on these jobs. We the main ones gentrified our neighborhoods, and there's no support for brown people. Okay, so the whole Jacob's trouble narrative has a bunch of, it just has a bunch of exits, man. It has a bunch of, it has too many areas of conversation. Okay, we've been getting our ass whooped since the time we got here to today. All I can say is, once that Straits of Hormuz gets shut down, which I'm banking on, that'll be the end of this shelf life, man. The total mayhem down here. Okay, but I'm gonna end it here. This is what Israelites gotta do. Gotta gather together and have that spirit of love. And I'm gonna try to shoot off the hip with Zephaniah 2:1. The Most High say, gather yourself together, O nation not desired, for the decree bring forth. Okay, and that decree is the judgment day. The ICBM nuclear missiles, the SARMATs, because all the nations align themselves up with Iran, Russia, China. Okay, they're all gonna help Iran, even NATO. And when they begin to bomb America, the missiles come this way, you got to pray that, you know, like I said, the trumpet sound and you're beamed up. Revelations 11. Okay, because we don't have time. America time is at hand. So that's my message for now. Just keep the commandments best of your ability. We're going to watch as the Most High continue to further its escalation and deliver the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Family, Shalom, stay tuned.